Ultimately, language learning is sort of simple, but it often feels really hard. Basically, get loads of input, keep going. We watch people learning a language in 90 days or in 30 days or even in 7 days. You're still pushing on with your language journey, but you feel like you're not making the same kind of progress. And sometimes when you watch those sorts of videos, it can be a bit demotivating to feel like we're not moving on at the same level. Like, I've been learning Hungarian for a week now and I'm not yet conversationally fluent. Let's be honest. If you've been watching those sorts of videos of 30-day challenges, let's call them, and you don't know the language that the person is learning, then you don't actually know the level that they get to within that 30-day period. So I wouldn't beat yourself up about it too much. Ultimately, it is a marathon, not a sprint. And the more experienced you get, the better you'll get at it. First of all, you just have to try lots of different methods. There's plenty out there, you're on the internet. See what works for you. And once you find something that seems to work, just do that every day. And that's the main thing. Whatever you do, do something every day. Because in reality, we know it takes a long time to learn a language. We just need to stay consistent, put the hours in every day, and eventually you know that you'll get there. So what I found useful is to try and set myself a goal that is achievable and it's something that I can do every day. Now, some days I will absolutely smash it out the park. Other days I might only just about get there. That's fine. I'm still making progress though. So when I actually started getting somewhere with my Chinese, it's when I said I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day. That's all I have to do. For Spanish, it's 2 hours listening a day. Now, 2 hours does sound like a lot, I grant you. But between the dog walks, my daily commute, doing the washing up and things like that, I actually never study. I just listen to audio material that for me is relatively simple, and I then through that pick up new words in context. I just understand them because I know all the other words around them. So I never had to sit down and study and learn lists of vocabulary, for example. Just using audio resources that I mostly understand, and that's how I just pick up the new stuff. And on the days I don't hit my goal, I just try not to beat myself up about it. If you like self-help type books, I read Atomic Habits. Well, I actually listened to the audiobook. It's the stuff you already know, but it's really useful to see it put into context with the compounding effect of doing something simple and fairly easy every day. If you are consistent with your language learning, you will see returns, even if you're not doing huge amounts every day. Of course, if you sit down and study for 8 hours a day, well done, you'll get fluent much quicker than the rest of us. But even if you're just doing a little bit, it doesn't have to be huge, you'll start to see that compounding interest. You'll make progress over time. I think it's worth pointing out that even in our native language, we're not fluent in every subject area. When people talk to me about something I don't know about, I'm not going to know all the correct words and phrases. So in your target language, if you can talk about the things that are interesting to you, well, then that's good enough for me. You'll never have completed a language, so you might as well enjoy the journey. And if you can talk about interesting subjects and have interesting conversations, then what more can you ask for? Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. This isn't a language challenge, it's your life. So whatever you are doing, make sure that you're enjoying it and you're doing it in a sustainable way. And that is how you stay consistent. And if you're not enjoying it, then change it up. The brain likes new things, and maybe that's what you need to get yourself out of a rut. Something I've realized recently is that my time is now completely accounted for. I like doing things. In fact, I really like doing things. And I like learning languages. But in fact, if you are going to learn a foreign language, sometimes you might have to admit to yourself that you have to make a choice between learning a language and perhaps doing something else with your time. And what's happened is that all of my time is now accounted for. Whenever I'm doing anything, I'm often listening to a Spanish podcast. If I'm not doing that, I'm learning martial arts, which is my other jam. I'm walking the dog. I do have to go to work. I'm making videos like this for the internet and trying to make time for the people in my life. Ultimately, you can't do everything, which is the hard lesson I'm learning. And it's worth being aware that learning a foreign language is something which involves a commitment of your time over a long period. You might have to admit that you can't do something else and still learn a foreign language, or you can dabble in the foreign language, but maybe you're not going to progress as fast as you would like. that's absolutely fine because you're busy with work or seeing friends or family or whatever. There are other things we need to prioritize sometimes in order to be good people. Something that I found helped is making a note of what you do in your target language every day. Now, it might sound odd, but tracking the hours you put in can be really motivating. It sort of gamifies the language experience to a degree, and not in a bad way, where you can see the hours you put in going up and up every day as you're sort of chipping away at your target language. It's something that I would really recommend doing. I'm using Dreaming Spanish at the moment, and on the website it tracks the hours that you watch or listen to videos for, and it's amazingly motivating to watch those numbers go up every single day. So maybe consider doing that as an option, even if you just have a spreadsheet, or even if you put it in a little notebook. However you want to do it, whatever you would find an enjoyable way to do it, somehow seems to work, and it's the kind of thing that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, because it seems like an extra thing to do. But if you can make a note of it, it's really worth doing. Whatever you do, try to make sure it's something that you like. Do it every day and be kind to yourself, because it can be hard out there. I'm going to put a video on the screen now if you want to check out one of my other videos. If you want to help my self-esteem, you could subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.